Right now, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, 4,600 Americans are living on a warship that cost more than the GDP of 100 countries combined. They work 12 to 16-hour shifts, sleep in coffin-sized bunks stacked 3 high, and they operate the most dangerous workplace on Earth, a 4.5-acre flight deck where one mistake means death. This is the USS Gerald R. Ford, the world's largest, most expensive aircraft carrier, $13 billion of American engineering. And for the men and women aboard, it's not just a ship, it's their entire world, for months at a time. Welcome to the most insane living situation in the modern military.
Imagine a city. Now put it on water. Make it move at 30 knots, fill it with jet fuel, explosives, and nuclear reactors. Then squeeze 4,600 people into a space smaller than many shopping malls. The Ford is 1,092 feet long. That's longer than 3 football fields. It weighs 100,000 tons fully loaded, and every single inch is engineered for war. There are 4,000 rooms, 2,780 miles of cable, 2 nuclear reactors that never need refueling for 50 years. This ship can launch a fully armed F-18 Super Hornet every 20 seconds during sustained flight operations. But here's what they don't tell you in the recruitment videos. Living on this floating fortress is one of the most physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding experiences in the American military. Let's go inside.
The rhythm of the machine, watch schedules, and sleep. The first thing you need to understand about carrier life is this: the ship never sleeps, and neither do you, not really. Most sailors on the Ford work rotating watch schedules, 4 hours on, 8 hours off. Sounds manageable, right? Wrong. Aviation electronics technician second class Marcus Chen described his typical day. You stand watch from 0400 to 0800, but you can't just show up at 0400. You're mustering at 0330, getting dressed in the dark so you don't wake your 40 roommates. By the time watch ends, it's breakfast, then your regular workday starts. Aircraft maintenance from 0900 to 1700, then dinner. Study for advancement exams, maybe hit the gym if you're lucky. Back in your rack by 2200 if nothing breaks. That gives you 6 hours before you're up again. 6 hours. And that's on a good day. The average sailor on the Ford gets between 5 and 6.5 hours of sleep per night during deployment. For context, the CDC recommends 7 to 9 hours. But here's where the real magic happens. Despite the exhaustion, these sailors maintain a 95% aircraft readiness rate. Speaking of survival, the Ford goes through 1,400 pounds of coffee every week. That's 200 pounds per day. About 2,000 cups of coffee consumed every 24 hours. Senior Chief Petty Officer Angela Rodriguez put it simply: coffee isn't a drink on a carrier, it's a survival tool. And it's not just sleep deprivation. It's the monotony of the routine mixed with the constant threat of chaos. The same watch, the same meals, the same faces, the same metal walls, for 6, 7, sometimes 8 months straight.
Feeding the beast, culinary operations. Now let's talk about something you probably never thought about. How do you feed 4,600 people 3 meals a day in the middle of the ocean? Before a typical 6-month deployment, the Ford loads 3 million pounds of food. 3 million. That's 1,500 tons. Here's what that looks like. 300,000 pounds of chicken, 150,000 pounds of beef, 50,000 dozen eggs, that's 600,000 individual eggs, 30,000 pounds of coffee, and 100,000 pounds of French fries. The Ford serves roughly 18,000 meals per day. That's more than most large restaurants serve in a month. Culinary specialist First Class Jamal Washington runs one of the Ford's galleys. He oversees a team of 30 cooks working in 4-hour rotations. We start breakfast prep at 0300. We're making 500 omelets, 1,000 pancakes, 800 servings of oatmeal, and we have 45 minutes to get it all out before the morning watch changeover. Miss that window, and you've got angry sailors who just worked a 12-hour night shift. But the mess deck isn't just about food. It's the social hub of the ship. It's where friendships are forged, where for 20 minutes you're not a rank or a rate, you're just someone eating breakfast. On holidays, the galley crews work overtime to make it special. Thanksgiving 2023 on the Ford featured full turkey dinners for all 4,600 sailors. The culinary team prepared for 72 straight hours. There's also a Navy tradition where on major holidays, officers serve the enlisted crew. The ship's captain, the admiral, the command master chief, they put on aprons and serve meals. Culinary specialist second class Maria Santos described what motivates her. Some of these kids, they're 19 years old, thousands of miles from home, and they just worked 14 hours in a hot engine room. If I can give them a good meal and maybe make them smile, I've done my job.
The most dangerous workplace on Earth. If the galleys are the heart of the ship, the flight deck is its fist, and it's the single most dangerous 4.5 acres in the world. During peak flight operations, the Ford can launch and recover one aircraft every 60 seconds. That's a 30-ton fighter jet accelerating from 0 to 170 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds. All of this happens on a moving platform, with jet blast that can blow a person overboard, with propellers and jet intakes that will kill you if you step wrong. The noise is so loud it can cause permanent hearing damage in seconds. The deck reaches temperatures of 140 degrees Fahrenheit in some areas, and there are dozens of people working within feet of all of it. Every person on that deck wears a specific colored jersey. Yellow shirts are aircraft directors. Purple shirts are fuel handlers. Blue shirts handle aircraft. Green shirts do maintenance. Red shirts handle ordnance, weapons. Brown shirts are plane captains. White shirts are safety and medical. The red shirts have arguably the most dangerous job. They handle live ordnance, missiles, bombs, ammunition. One mistake, and you're not just dead, you've taken half the deck crew with you. Aviation bosun's mate first class David Martinez described the pressure. Every bomb I load could be the one that saves American lives. Every missile has to be perfect. One cross-threaded bolt, one missed safety check, and people die. So you triple check everything, and then you check again. Aviation bosun's mate first class Jessica Miller is a yellow shirt. She described her first night launch. It's pitch black except for the light sticks we're holding. The jets are screaming, the deck is pitching in rough seas, and you're guiding a $70 million aircraft with hand signals. It's organized chaos, and it's the most incredible thing you'll ever do. The Ford has conducted over 13,000 catapult launches and arrested landings since commissioning. Thousands of sorties, and they do it with a safety record that's a testament to training, discipline, and professionalism.
Before we dive into how these sailors handle the mental strain, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Most people watching haven't subscribed, and it truly helps us bring these incredible stories to you. All right, let's talk about the psychological warfare of carrier life.
The psychology of endurance, mental health. For months at a time, thousands of sailors live in a metal box with no natural light, no privacy, and no escape. The average berthing compartment houses 60 to 120 sailors. Your rack is 6 feet long and 2.5 feet wide. You have about 18 inches of vertical space. You share this room with dozens of people working different shifts, which means someone is always awake, always making noise. You have one small locker for all your belongings. That's it. Aviation ordnanceman 3rd Class Tyler Brooks described his rack. It's basically a coffin, but it's my coffin. I've got pictures of my family, my dog, my girlfriend. I've got a curtain I can pull closed. That's my entire world for 6 months. Most sailors go weeks without seeing natural sunlight. The human brain isn't designed for this. The Ford has 3 chaplains and 4 mental health counselors. They're not just for crises, they're for the daily grind. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Mitchell, a Navy psychologist, explained, "There's a cumulative psychological toll to this lifestyle. The isolation, the separation from family, the constant stress. We see depression, we see anxiety, and we see incredible resilience. Communication with home is limited. Email access is slow and restricted. Phone calls home happen maybe once a week. Video calls, rare. Sailors miss births, weddings, funerals, first steps, birthdays, anniversaries." Electronics technician first class David Park missed his daughter's birth during a 2021 deployment. He found out via email 18 hours later. "It was the hardest moment of my life. I was 7,000 miles away and there was nothing I could do. But I had a job. The ship needed me. So you compartmentalize, you lock it away, and you keep working. But here's what gets them through it: each other.
The bonds formed on a carrier deployment are unlike anything in civilian life. Chief Petty Officer Jennifer Adams put it perfectly. We take care of our own. Someone's struggling, we step up. Someone needs to talk, we listen. That's the culture. That's how you survive.
Running a nuclear-powered city. The Ford is powered by two A1B nuclear reactors. These reactors produce 700 megawatts of power. That's enough electricity to power 700,000 homes, and they'll run for 50 years without refueling. That power drives four 21-foot propellers. Each blade weighs 66,000 pounds. The Ford can push through the ocean at over 30 knots. That's 35 miles per hour for a 100,000-ton ship. Maintaining this beast falls to about 600 engineering personnel working around the clock. Machinist's mate Second Class Robert Chen described the environment. It's 110 degrees on a cool day down here. The noise is constant, everything vibrates, and if something breaks, we don't just call a repairman. We are the repairman. We fix it or the ship doesn't move. The engineering plant also produces all the ship's fresh water. The Ford has desalination units that produce 400,000 gallons per day from seawater. But water is rationed. Sailors get Navy showers, 30 to 60 seconds of water. Turn on the water, get wet, turn it off, soap up, turn it back on, rinse. Done. The Ford also has 2,780 miles of electrical cable running through it. That's enough cable to stretch from New York to Los Angeles. Every system, every process, every operation is engineered, tested, and drilled to perfection, because failure isn't an option.
The human element, sacrifice and service. But all the engineering, all the statistics, all the capabilities, none of it matters without the people. Aviation boatswain's mate Second Class Jessica Miller deployed on the Ford in 2022. She has a 6-year-old daughter. Before deployment, she recorded herself reading 180 bedtime stories, one for every night she'd be gone. Her daughter watched a video every night before bed. For 6 months. That's sacrifice. The average age on the Ford is 24 years old. Most of these sailors are barely out of high school, and they're operating some of the most advanced military equipment on the planet. They're troubleshooting million-dollar radar systems, managing nuclear reactors, landing fighter jets on a pitching deck at night. At 22 years old, Captain Paul Lanzalota, commanding officer of the Ford, said, "This ship doesn't run on nuclear power. It runs on the dedication, professionalism, and grit of 4,600 Americans who volunteered to serve. Every sailor on that ship is there by choice. They raised their right hand and took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And they do it knowing the costs, the missed moments, the exhaustion, the danger. They do it anyway, because someone has to."
The strategic importance, why it matters. So why does all of this matter? Why spend $13 billion on a single ship? Because the Ford isn't just a ship, it's a statement. When the Ford deploys, it travels as part of a carrier strike group. 1 carrier, 2 cruisers, 2 destroyers, 1 submarine, plus supply ships. This battle group can project American military power anywhere in the world within days. The Ford represents the next generation of this capability. Its electromagnetic aircraft launch system can launch heavier aircraft with less stress. Its advanced arresting gear recovers aircraft more safely. Its dual-band radar can track hundreds of targets simultaneously. And it requires 700 fewer crew members than previous carriers while conducting 33% more sorties. In an era where China is building its Navy at record pace and threats emerge globally, the Ford sends a clear message. America controls the seas. In 2023, the Ford deployed to the Mediterranean and conducted over 2,500 combat sorties in support of operations against ISIS. That's 2,500 missions launched from a mobile airbase that can't be attacked, can't be surrounded, and can't be denied access. And that control rests on the shoulders of 4,600 Americans who live in a metal city, work impossible hours, sacrifice time with their families, and do it with pride.
Conclusion. The USS Gerald R. Ford is many things. It's a technological marvel, a strategic asset, a symbol of American power. But more than anything, it's a testament to the Americans who crew it. 4,600 people from every background, every state, every walk of life, united by service. They endure conditions most Americans can't imagine. They work with a level of professionalism that's hard to comprehend, and they do it all while keeping our nation safe. So the next time you hear about a carrier deployment, remember, it's not just a ship sailing. It's thousands of Americans choosing to serve something bigger than themselves. And that's worth celebrating. If this gave you a new appreciation for the men and women of the United States Navy, hit that like button. Subscribe for more deep dives into military operations and the incredible people who defend our freedom. Drop a comment. What surprised you most about life aboard a carrier? Thanks for watching, and to the sailors of the Ford and every carrier, thank you for your service. Fair winds and following seas.